Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwan, and today we're going to be talking about the Dark Eldar versus the Orcs. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions for versus videos, please comment down in the comments section below. And if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It's because of them that we can do this. It's just $1 a month, and the link is in the description if you guys want to support us. Thank you ahead of time. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Dark Eldar versus the Orcs. In a galaxy plagued by war and destruction, no other race savors the pain and misery caused by constant conflict like the Dark Eldar. Compared to the swarms of Tyranids or the endless regiments of the Imperial Guard, the Dark Eldar are but a pebble to the boulder-sized armies of those other races. Yet when it comes to spreading fear, the Drukhari are a cut above all others. Their superiority is fueled by the fact that they are truly nourished and revitalized based on how much suffering they can extract from their victims. The longer an Imperial citizen can live as their flesh is being stripped from the bone, or the louder a victim's agonizing cries for help can get, the more it pleases the Dark Eldar warriors. To the Dark Eldar, the sweet fruit of horror is as pleasing as the caress of a razor blade across soft flesh. They relish breaking the bodies of their captives, but prize even more highly the crushing of their spirit. For nothing is more gratifying to a Dark Eldar than securing utter dominion over one who has resisted them. They drink in every nuance of woe until their captives plead for death, a mercy the Dark Eldar are famously slow to grant. Even this is not a release for the victims, for the foul Dark Eldar homunculi hold the power of life and death in their claws. Many captives, when too broken to provide further sport, will be rent and reshaped into undying trophies, or even grotesque items of jewelry or furniture. More than one homunculus lair has sported a moaning, twitching throne fashioned from the remains of his favorite victim. Other unfortunates are rendered down, their final fate to be consumed as elixirs or narcotics by the monstrous beings who stole their lives. A quick death is rare when facing these sadistic foes, but there has been one race that has proven to be an annoyance to the Dark Eldar, the brutish greenskins. Orcs are not only one of the most resilient races in the galaxy, they instinctively search for the most brutal conflict. They are biologically designed to eagerly march towards the sounds of murder and agony. The roars of anguish coming from their own kind is but a humorous laughter to these beasts. Orcoid physique itself is so robust that it could withstand tremendous punishment. Orcs feel surprisingly little pain, even for the most grievous of wounds, enabling them to fight while horrifically injured, or even for a short while after being technically dead. Orcs are quite capable of being beheaded, having their heads sewn onto a different body, and surviving the experience to fight again. It is said that burning them to ash is the only way to make absolute sure that they are gone for good. It is believed by some who study these brutes that it explains the greenskins' ultra-violent sense of humor, as pain and fear means little to them. They are highly curious and amused by the reactions of their weaker foes as they hack them apart, the screams of terror contrasting with a deep throaty rumbling that on occasion could be mistaken for laughter from the orcs and their snickering brethren. The greenskin regenerative process itself is so powerful that an orc who has been hacked to bits would still attempt to kill its assailant. It is this incredible survivability that haunts the Dark Eldar. Put aside the fact that capturing a greenskin monster alive is a task even a superhuman space marine would struggle to accomplish. Once the orc is bound, its entire being is overcome with nothing but rage. No matter how deep the Drukhari tormentor cuts, no matter what kind of abuse is applied, the orc's bloodlust will overcome any other emotion. Frustration is quicker to set in the Drukhari than fear in the orc. This is why the experienced Dark Eldar Archons would much rather use greenskins as pawns in their grander schemes. The limited intelligence of an orc means that they can be easily outwitted by a clever Dark One. It is rare to see an alliance created between these two races, but it's almost always to the best interest of both races to work together for a common goal rather than vainly fight one another. Whether it's a Corsair fleet working alongside a freebooter captain, witch cult dealing with a band of odd boys, betrayal is almost always guaranteed. The trick is to get as much out of the greenskins as possible before they decide to turn around and drive a choppa through a soft Drukhari skull. This lesson was learned from Archon Shrek of the Cabal of the Severed Hope, when he tried to turn the greenskin horde of Warhammer against the Tau Empire colony of Corvesa. Using hit-and-run attacks, the Dark Eldar fleet lured much of the Orc force towards Corvesa, but in their arrogance, they underestimated the Orcs completely. Using short-range teleporter drives, a number of Warlord Hammerfist's cruisers leapfrogged the Dark Eldar, leaving them surrounded and cut off from escape into the webway. Archon Shirek's forces fought like devils to escape the tightening ring of Orc ships. However, their resistance came to an end when Hammerfist and his Mega Nob retinue teleported aboard Shirek's flagship and sliced the Archon to shreds with their roaring kill saws. Typically, when the Orcs and the Dark Eldar do collide, it's in the best interest of the Drukhari to fight a tactical fight. Such was the case when the Cabal of the Poison Tongue came into conflict with a fleet of Orc freebooters stationed outside of Gragas. Lady Aurelia Malice was incensed that mere barbarian pirates would deny her her will. Personally capturing a muscle-bound Orc Nob, Malice instructed her Lemaean poisoners to prepare a surprise for the greenskins upon the planet. Lady Maleus's Cabal made planetfall weeks later, fighting their way to the center of the Orc capital city and impaling the barely living captive upon a half-built gargant before melting away into the night. The corpse began to shed millions of spores into the air, each of which bore a cargo of terrible wasting toxins. As the infected spores corrupted the Orcoid reproduction cycle, the population of Gragas grew weaker and weaker. When Malice returned, it was a simple matter of slaughtering the Orcs that were resilient to the poison. This wouldn't be the last time Lady Malice would encounter Orcs. Late in the 41st millennium, she learned through some harlequins that a tech priest on Vendrigus 9 had recovered an STC codename Panacea, a miracle cure that would save billions of human lives. During that time, Lady Malice was given a task by Vect himself: poison the Imperium of Man and bring proof of the deed. This was her opportunity. Using hit-and-run raids, Malice's Cabal of the Poison Tongue lured the might of the Orc Wall down upon the heavily defended Forge World. The Orc fleet literally plowed headlong into the planet, one massive void ship after another, slamming into the world's surface to cause untold destruction. As wave upon wave of Orc disembarked from the wrecked spacecraft, the planet's surviving defenders found themselves embroiled in a desperate war for survival. Malice and her Cabal swooped into the midst of the resulting havoc, cutting down everyone who stood between them and their prize. After prying the miracle cure from the Orc Big Mac, who had stolen it before her, Malice returned to the Dark City, leaving the planet to burn in her wake. Azurael Vec was reportedly impressed with the audacious raid, allowing Malice to set the Imperium's miracle cure atop a pedestal in her personal trophy hall. She even received an invitation from Vec as a way to congratulate her. Orcs have even been known to assault Kamara itself, even though it was an accident. The Orc warlord, Zoggit, famous for killing anyone foolish enough to imply that he was a bit of a weird boy, declared a war straight into the Vermilion space rift, encroaching upon the world of Zogdis. He and his boys emerged in the Kamarite port spar of black blood, much to the surprise of the resident Cabal. The resulting storm of violence carried hundreds of thousands of Orcs into the twisting byways of Kamara. The Dark City quickly turned attention to the Orcoid invasion, systematically isolating each Orc army in order to destroy it piece by piece. However, each Cabal was preoccupied by trying to turn an unexpected invasion to their advantage, that the Orcs caused far more damage than any of the Cabals thought was possible. Several districts of Kamara were toppled or burnt to cinder, waves upon waves of howling Orcs. Eventually the Orcs were corralled, and over 10,000 greenskins were captured by the Witch District, packed to capacity for almost an entire fortnight. When Orcs are captured, such as in this situation, they are perfect warriors for the bloody stage of a witch cult arena. In these gladiatorial battles, the tough and aggressive Orcs are let loose on the weaker captives, such as Tau and humans. The Drukhari crowds love to see the muscle-bound beasts pummel other slaves. Once the audience has had a fill of violence from these greenskins, a true combatant steps in to challenge an Orc. It is a sign of great pride for a witch to best an Orc in hand-to-hand combat. The Orc's raw power could easily rip apart the slender bodies of the Dark Eldar, which is why the witch must both be agile and precise with every one of its strikes. Many inexperienced warriors have underestimated the orc endurance. Even if an orc has been fighting all day, a sudden burst of aggression can easily catch a Dark Eldar off guard, and it will almost always prove deadly. To the amusement of some homunculi, an orc slave can also be used to create furniture that has the potential to severely hurt a user. The indomitable nature of an orc means that even severed limbs can still be hostile. The arm of a chair can easily be made from the fungus-like arm of an orc, and any interaction with that body part could trigger it to claw at the unsuspecting owner. It is important to note that the Dark Eldar will always view orcs as prey, and even in situations where the greenskins are attacking their craft-world brethren, the Drukhari will always choose to side with their own kin over an orc, no matter what type of arrangement has been made. And those were 40 facts on the Dark Eldar versus the Orcs. Thank our patrons on Patreon. It's because of them that we can create videos like this. More videos like this are coming, and that's thanks to their $1 a month. If you guys want to support us, the link is down in the description. It's fun to take bits and pieces from the codex of both or of two armies and then putting them together and then seeing how the lore would play out if they were both fighting each other. The Orcs and the Dark Eldar obviously fight all the time. I mean, they're pirates, so it just makes sense that both those pirate armies would interact with each other. It's just not very common in the lore just because they are kind of like side armies or side factions that don't really get that much love from GW. But it is one of those interesting situations where it's almost like a mismatch. You have a really intelligent but very small army, and then you have a very dumb but just huge army, like a battle of attrition. I've never actually gone one-on-one with a Dark Eldar player. I wonder how that would play out. I'm pretty sure that currently, in the meta of this current edition, the Orcs would win. I have a huge bias because I am an Orc player, but then at the end, I know that Dark Eldar lore usually tends to be more of like them scheming to get the upper hand on an enemy, which would be easy against an Orc, warlord, even a big mech. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have more suggestions for other versus videos, please comment down below. Just let me know what two factions you guys would like to see go head to head. And yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow. This is Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Put my freedom first in any situation.